Sleep. It's one of the most essential and overlooked human needs, a biological reset button designed to keep the brain sharp, the body balanced, and our systems running smoothly. Yet in our modern world, where productivity often outranks health, people continue to push the limits, sacrificing sleep for work, social life, or late-night scrolling. But what actually happens when you don't sleep? Not for one night, not even two, but for a full 72 hours. Let's take a journey into the body and mind to uncover the deep and disturbing consequences of sleep deprivation over 3 days. In the first 24 hours without sleep, things might still feel manageable. This is the stage most of us have experienced, perhaps pulling an all-nighter for exams, a deadline, or after a long flight. You may feel slightly groggy, but still functional. However, beneath the surface, your brain is already struggling. Focus begins to waver, reaction time slows down, and your short-term memory becomes less reliable. You might find yourself rereading the same sentence over and over, forgetting simple tasks, or losing track of conversations. Emotionally, you may notice increased irritability and a shorter fuse. That's because your brain's stress response system, known as the HPA axis, is on high alert, flooding your body with cortisol, the hormone that prepares you for stress. Blood pressure begins to rise, immune activity drops, and inflammation slowly creeps in. Even at this early stage, the prefrontal cortex, which handles decision-making and self-control, starts to lose its edge. Meanwhile, the emotional center of the brain, the amygdala, becomes more active, making you more reactive and less rational. As you move into the 24 to 36-hour mark, the cracks become harder to ignore. Your brain begins forcing short, involuntary sleep episodes known as micro-sleeps. These last just a few seconds, but during them, your brain essentially shuts down. You might zone out mid-conversation, drop something without realizing, or stare blankly into space. These moments are not just lapses in focus, they are moments when your brain disconnects from reality. Motor skills decline, and you may find yourself bumping into things or misjudging distances. Your ability to form new memories weakens, and even routine tasks feel mentally draining. Your appetite begins to shift as hormones like leptin and ghrelin go out of balance. Your brain tells you you're starving, and you start craving sugar and high-fat foods. At the same time, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, putting you temporarily at risk for high blood sugar levels and metabolic imbalance. Your heart starts working harder, and heart rate variability, a measure of how well your nervous system can adapt, begins to decrease. Every part of your body is trying to tell you, it's time to rest. But you keep going. By the time you've been awake for 48 hours, you're entering dangerous territory. Your perception of reality begins to warp. Visual hallucinations are common. You may see shapes move, lights flicker, or people appear in your peripheral vision who aren't actually there. Sounds begin to distort. You may hear voices, buzzing, or music that doesn't exist. You start to feel disconnected from your surroundings, and paranoia begins to creep in. The brain's ability to tell what's real and what's imagined is breaking down. Emotionally, you might find yourself crying for no reason, laughing inappropriately, or feeling completely numb. Logical thinking becomes almost impossible. Multi-step tasks that once felt simple now seem overwhelming. Meanwhile, your immune system continues to weaken. Your body is producing fewer white blood cells, and inflammation markers are rising steadily, making you more vulnerable to illness. Even your core body temperature starts to fluctuate, as your brain loses its ability to regulate heat effectively. You might feel too cold or suddenly break into sweats. Internally, your gut also suffers, stomach acid increases, your digestion slows, and the balance of your gut bacteria starts to shift in unhealthy ways. At this point, if you're finding this video eye-opening, or even a little scary, it's a good time to pause and support the channel. If you're into science-backed breakdowns of the human body and mind like this one, hit that like button so more people see it. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into health, psychology, and human performance. Alright, now back to the breakdown. Approaching 60 hours of sleep deprivation, your body and mind begin to unravel completely. You may still be technically awake, but parts of your brain are beginning to shut down to conserve energy. Thoughts loop endlessly. Conversations don't make sense. Your judgment is completely impaired, and you may start making reckless or dangerous decisions. Emotionally, you're a wreck. Serotonin and dopamine levels are unstable, causing wild mood swings. One moment you feel euphoric, the next you're deeply anxious or irrationally angry. Your motor coordination deteriorates even more. You might have trouble walking straight, your hands shake, and your speech slurs. Basic functions like forming a coherent sentence or focusing your eyes become hard work. Hormones are completely out of balance. Testosterone or estrogen levels drop, your metabolism slows, and your body produces even less melatonin, ironically making natural sleep harder to achieve, even when you're desperate for it. At the 72-hour mark, your brain is operating in survival mode. This is the edge of consciousness. Many people begin to experience full-blown psychosis at this point. You may believe things that are entirely untrue, forget where you are, or lose touch with your identity. Some experience delusions of grandeur or intense paranoia. You're no longer just tired, you're mentally unwell. Physiologically, your autonomic nervous system begins to misfire. Your heart rate may spike or drop suddenly. Breathing becomes shallow and irregular. Blood pressure swings unpredictably. You are no longer in control. In most cases, the body will eventually override your willpower and force unconsciousness, often resulting in a collapse wherever you happen to be. In others, you remain awake in a dreamlike state, disoriented, terrified, and mentally fragmented. What's important to understand is that sleep is not a luxury, it is a biological necessity. While you sleep, your brain clears out toxic waste through the glymphatic system, a recently discovered cleaning mechanism that flushes out neurotoxic byproducts like beta amyloid. Neural connections are strengthened or pruned, memories are sorted and stored, muscles rebuild, hormones balance, and the immune system gets a chance to recover and defend. Depriving your body of this essential process doesn't just lead to discomfort or fatigue. It initiates a complete breakdown of body systems, especially the brain. The longer you go without sleep, the more you edge toward the physical and psychological effects of trauma, severe illness, and even psychosis. So the next time you think about pulling another all-nighter or telling yourself, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," remember, sleep is not time wasted. It's time invested in your brain, your body, your sanity, and your survival.